Today I'm going to do a blog post for updates on what I'm working on. These are primarily for my readers. I got my notes, so hopefully I don't lose track. So I'm happy to announce The Hero Least Likely is finally finished. For real this time. Because before I thought I was going to finish it, because I only had 2 more chapters to go and it was the middle of February. And yet, almost the middle of March came and I still hadn't finished those last 2 chapters. The good news is, my main characters are still alive. I was tempted to throw an asteroid at them because they wouldn't tell me what they wanted to do next. I don't typically plot. I actually did plot, but I had to have my husband and my son sit together and kind of walk me through what would make for an exciting Western action scene. So I wrote down what they wanted and I actually plotted. And for 2 pages of my plot notes, it worked. And then for the last 2 pages, I guess the characters finally just did their own thing. Because the last 2 pages, nothing from that plot worked. But you know what? It got done. We're finished. The characters are still alive, and we're all good. So it's a happy ending after all. Let's see. And then for the Earl's Blue Stocking Bride, I'm really making nice progress. I'm hoping these characters are nicer to me than the ones in The Hero Least Likely were. So hopefully we'll get that done kind of without a hitch. I would say I don't know if I know I'm over the halfway point, and I might be heading towards about the 3/4, but I have to see, because this blow-up's about to happen. Essentially, the hero and heroine are about to find out who their secret identities are. And when they do, she is not going to be happy, because he rejected her play, thinking that she wasn't the playwright, but she was the playwright, and he was the actor, and she didn't realize he was the actor. So they're about to find out, and he's about to insult her play without realizing it's her as the playwright. So yeah, that's going to be fun. I'm going to enjoy that. And I will have to have Oscar try out that love potion on her. It's not going to work, of course, because we're too early in the series. This is only book 1 in the series for it to work, but it'll still be fun, giving it a try. Now, I did put The Preacher's Wife on hold because I have this Masquerade Bride book to get out before Halloween. This is going to be part of the Regency holiday series I'm doing. And since we're already in the middle of March, and it apparently takes me longer these days to write books than it used to, and I'm guessing that's just an effect from the burnout that I went through. I just don't write as fast as I used to. I have to just accept it, give myself more breaks. But I have felt my writing's better now. And I think the storytelling is better and stronger, and the characters are more fleshed out. And I've noticed my stories are getting a little longer than I have been making them. So that might be just a side effect of enjoying being in the story longer. So there's a trade-off, a little bit slower, but maybe the stories will be better. So anyway, for Masquerade Bride, I had debated swapping the heroine's life with someone else's, like the lady in book 2 who's going to be the heroine there. But then I decided I would go ahead and just give the heroine of book 1 a kind of, what if you had been born as, the popular girl? Because kind of what she thinks that her life would be so much better if she could just be charming and beautiful and, just have men fall at her feet and all this stuff. So I'm going to give her the opportunity to figure out, if this is something she really wants or not. And this is the reason I put The Preacher's Wife on hold, because typically I do work on 3 books at a time, and it's just because I've tried to work on only 1 book. For me, it doesn't work. For some authors, it does. But for me, I can only write about, I figure 500 to 750. Max is about 1,000 words a day in any book. And when I give myself breaks between writing, I can really write. When I sit down to write, I really am flowing. But I do run out of ideas for that specific story, but I have ideas for another story. And any one time in my head, I have more than 1 story going on any one time in my head anyway. So it's hard for me to focus if I just work on the 1 book. And this is an example, okay? I'm just going to come out and say it. The Hunger Games. I'm in love with the series. I'm in love with the books. And I've been reading fan fiction on Archive of Our Own, based on the Hunger Games stories. And then I thought, I guess a scenario came into my mind, well, what if this had happened instead? right? So I was trying not to give into the urge to write it. I would just go to bed early and I just play it out in my head. Okay, well, this is what would happen. What if? Because sometimes that works. Most of the time that works for me, and I have no desire to ever write anything about it again. But in this case, I would sit down to write even the hero least likely, and this is the book I had to get done. And yet I had that fan fiction idea in my head, and it just would not leave me alone. And I even sat down after I finished the hero least likely. I thought, okay, well, now I can sit down, and now I can write, the other books. But then I would sit at the computer, and I was thinking Katniss and Peeta, and I'm just like, what the heck? So you know what? I'm just going to have to write it, because if I do not write it, I cannot get to the other books. And that is how my writing brain works. And this is why I cannot write just one book at a time. I can't push the idea aside. If I don't get it down, it's not going to get down. And if anyone has read the Hunger Games series, Peeta was talking about needing to get the stuff, he needs to paint it to get it out of his head. That's how it is for me with writing. I have to write it to get it out of my head, because if I don't write it, it's just going to bug me. And then the last thing, I just want to mention, YouTube, I just got chapter 17 of Tagalong Bride up for that book, and I've already started reading Eye of the Beholder. I've decided Eye of the Beholder is going to be the next one. If anyone has a request for a book they would like me to put up on YouTube and Rumble, to narrate, and I narrate myself, and I know my voice isn't the best, but I can afford my prices. And I can easily make this stuff clean versions, because I can just, I just modify it myself as I'm reading along. Whereas someone else, I'd have to tell them what to do, what to take out. And even if I were to try doing an AI system to read the book, I'd have to go in and manually get that out. And that's just more work than I want to do. I have decided from now on, I'm just going to do stuff that's fun for me. If it's not fun, I'm just not going to do it, because I've decided I'm not going to worry about the money. The money is what led me to go to burnout, worrying about the money and stuff. I'm not saying it's not nice to make money. I mean, I'm not an idiot. Of course, it's nice to make the money. But I've decided that I would rather just have fun, relax, and enjoy everything I'm doing. And I enjoy doing these videos. I didn't think I would, because I always thought, oh God, in front of a camera, but you know what? It is what it is. And I'm actually having fun with it. And I do like having an audio portion to go with my blogs in case someone isn't, they're kind of like me and they struggle a little bit with their eyes. Although I will say my eyes have been so much better ever since I took myself away from the news. I don't know what it is about the news. Maybe it's all the fear, and it's kind of like fear left and right. It doesn't matter. It's just fear. Somehow, for some reason, we're all supposed to be afraid of something. And I've noticed that really took a toll on my eyes, and I didn't realize it. Ever since I've backed away from that, and I've also backed away from trying to make the money with the writing and stressing about that too. I've just been forget it. I'm going to do what I enjoy. If people like it, they like it, and if they don't, they don't. That's fine. But, ever since then, the dry eye thing has not really been an issue. I have been able to be on the computer way more. I've been able to read stuff again. Paperbacks are still hard. Regular paper. I still struggle with that. Magazines, I struggle with it. But I have the Reticare. It's like a screen around the computer. Some kind of filter that's supposed to protect the eyes. And that's sufficient to do the job that I need to get done. So yeah, so if anyone out there is kind of struggling with it, and I tried diet, I tried changing my diet, I tried doing all the water, tried doing the drops, tried doing everything that they recommended, and they just weren't working. But getting away from all that stress, the stuff that stressed me out, that is what did the trick. And I only mention this at the end in case maybe this might work for you too. Okay, so we're gonna leave it there.